Hi everybody, it's Crystal. So today I'm going to show you how to make this cute little pouch here made out of a couple granny squares. So you can do whatever you want to do with it. You can put a line it if you want to. I do have a video on how to line bags if you'd like to line it, but I'll give you a quick measurement. You can use it for whatever you want. This is all put together after it's all said and done with. 5.5, and then if you push the handles down even, 6.5. All right. Now this is made with the Sunburst Granny Square. It's a very popular granny square pattern. Let me measure the granny. Oh, you can make these with bigger grannies too if you want, of course. And you don't have to use this style granny. These grannies are about 5.25, something like that. You know what I mean? You can use any granny square you want. You can make it bigger or smaller. It doesn't matter to me. But I'll show you how to make this one in case you're interested. But I think it's super cute. You can use it for lots of things. It's adorbs. And again, I'm sure my baby daughter, baby girl, will steal that from me as she does everything. Okay. For this project, I used this is Joann's brand. Casey cotton. It is a 100% cotton, 3-weight cotton. You don't have to use a 3-weight. You can use any way you want. If you use a bigger weight though, just know your project will be a little bit bigger. And if you use a smaller weight, it'll be a little bit smaller. You don't even have to use cotton if you don't want such a little bag. It ain't really gonna matter. Usually you use cotton for big bags so that, you know, to keep it from stretching, but it's such a small bag, you know, you're not gonna be carrying too much heavy things in it. You use whatever yarn you want. All right. Well, the colors I used was Sequoia, S'more, and this one is called Ground. And then it was less. It was like a half a ball or a quarter of a ball of each, maybe, to make one. I made other stuff out of this, so you know. Yeah, probably like a quarter of a ball of each one. There's 180 yards in each one. All right, and then I'm using a size H, which is a 5mm crochet hook. All right, let's go ahead and get started. All right, I'm going to show you how to make this Sunburst Granny. You can make it any colors that you want. You can even make it solid, or like I said, you can use another granny square if you want to. All right. Now, if you're using a bigger yarn, you probably want to use a bigger hook too. I'd use a hook size bigger if you're using a 4-weight yarn. So we're going to go ahead and start with a slip knot on our hook. And we're going to go ahead and chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to slip stitch into the first stitch to form a ring. Now you can use the magic circle here if you prefer. I'm not going to, but I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch into that first stitch. And I'm going to be working into the ring. Okay, I'm going to chain 1, which does not count as a stitch. So I need to work 16 double crochets through the center of this ring. So I'm going to yarn over, I put my hook through the center of the ring, and then I grab my working yarn and pull it back through like that. And then I do my double crochet. So that's 1. Remember that chain 1 doesn't count as anything. So we got 1 double again through the center, back through. There's 2. 3. And we want to keep going until we have a total of 16 double crochets through the center of that ring. And I'll meet back up with you here in just a second. All right, so I got my 16 double crochets. So I'm going to go ahead and end round 1 by slip stitching into my first double. Like that. I'm going to clip off my yarn and change color. So I'm going to chain 1 like that. And then I'm going to, with the dullest scissors I have in the house. Okay, pull that tight. Remember, you don't have to change colors if you don't want to. And then I'm going to pull that tail, close up that center circle a little bit more. And then if you want to flip it over, if you didn't use the magic circle, I never used the magic circle. But it's okay if you did, But if you didn't, it's easy to close up this. You just take your tail and a yarn needle, and while you're weaving in your tail, you can sew this shut. Just go under the double crochet like this and pull it tight, and do that all the way around. I don't usually do this part on camera. Now I'm nervous. Anyways, you just do this all the way around, and then it will close that central circle up, and then you can cut off that tail of the center. All right, now you whatever color you want to use next, you want to go ahead and bring it in. And you can start in any stitch. I kind of start opposite of where I just ended, so I can, as I'm going along, I can crochet that tail in so I don't have to sew it later. Start in any stitch that you want. All right, now we're going to do what's next on the sunburst is these puff stitches. So they're very easy to do. So to start, we're going to chain one for the first one. All right. So what we're going to do is pull up just a bit, and we're going to yarn over, go into that same stitch. I'm going to hide that tail as I go, and draw up a loop. We want to do that 3 times. So that was number 1. Again, yarn over, go into the same stitch, draw up a loop. That was 2 times. Yarn over again, go into the same stitch, draw up a loop. That was 3 times, and you should have 7 loops on your hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yarn over and go through all 7 and chain 1. And that's what we're going to do in every single stitch all the way around. So again, we're going to yarn over, go into the next stitch, and draw up a loop. So we need to do that 3 times. That was number 1. Yarn over, same stitch, draw up a loop. That's 2 times. Yarn over, same stitch, draw up a loop. That's 3 times. 7 loops on your hook, yarn over and go through all 7, chain 1. All right, and then we move to our next stitch. Yarn over, go into it, draw up a loop. That's once. Yarn over, same stitch, draw up a loop. That's twice. Yarn over, same stitch, draw up a loop. That's 3 times. 7 loops, yarn over and go through all 7 and chain 1. So I'm going to do this all the way around until I make it back to my starting point. So I'm putting a 3 times yarn over puff into each stitch, and then I'm chaining 1 to lock it into place like that. All right. So I'm going to continue this all the way around, and I'll meet back up with you right here when we get to our starting point. All right, I'm coming to the end of row 2. I just did my last puff, chain 1. Now we're going to end by slip stitching into right here into the top of our first puff. And you should have 16 puffs now. And I'm going to switch colors again, so I'm going to clip that off. Went and got a pair of sharper scissors, hopefully. Yeah, that's better. I'm going to clip these tails off on the back so they're not in the way while I'm trying to show you. All right, I'm going to bring in another color. So up next on the sunburst are these clusters, double crochet clusters. Again, I'm going to start opposite end from where I just tied off. Now you can start in any one of these chain spaces here. And now we're going to do a double crochet 4 together cluster. So I'll go ahead and show you how you do that. Go ahead and pull your yarn through. And for the first one, we're going to chain 1. All right. All right. Now we're going to yarn over, go into that chain space, draw up a loop, and yarn over and go through the first 2 loops on our hook like that. We need to do that 4 times. That was number 1. Again, we're going to yarn over, go into the same spot, draw up a loop, yarn over and go through the first 2 loops That's 2 times. Yarn over, same space, draw up a loop, yarn over and go through the first 2 loops. That's 3 times. One more time. Yarn over, same space, draw up a loop, yarn over and go through the first 2 loops, and you have 5 loops that remain. Yarn over and go through all 5, and now we're going to do a chain of 2. 1 and 2, and that is the double crochet 4 together cluster. And this is what we're going to do in each one of these chain spaces all the way around between the puffs. Alright, let's do it again. We're going to yarn over, go into the next chain space, draw up a loop, and yarn over and go through the first 2 loops on your hook. We need to do that 4 times. So that was number 1. Yarn over, same spot, draw up a loop, yarn over and go through the first 2 loops 2 times. Yarn over, same spot, draw up a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2 loops. That's 3 times. One more time, yarn over, same spot, draw up a loop, yarn over and go through the first 2. You should have 5 loops that remain. Yarn over and go through all 5, and then chain 2. 1 and 2. So I'm going to repeat this pattern in each one of these chain 1 spaces between the puffs. Just like that, until we make it back around to our starting point. So it's a double crochet, 4 together cluster, and a chain 2 in between. Just like that. All right, I will see you right over here at our starting point. All right, I'm coming to the end of round 3. I just did my last cluster. It's okay if it's flipping up. It'll lay correct here in a minute. We're gonna go ahead and chain 2 after your last one, and we're gonna end round 3 by slip stitching into the top. How about into that spot right there? Yeah, somewhere around there. And I'm going to switch colors again. I'm going to tie that color off, clip it, like that. And I'm going to go ahead and clip these off the back. I hid them when I was crocheting. That way they're not hanging around while we're trying to show you. Alright, I'm going to go back to my middle color. And now we're going to square this off. So you can start in any one of these chain spaces that you like. Start your yarn. And we're going to chain 1. Doesn't count as a stitch, it's just a start. Okay, we're going to go back into this chain space and we're going to work 3 double crochets. There's 1, 2, and 3. So what we need is 3 sets of 3 double crochet in these chain spaces. All right, so there's 3 double crochet into that chain space. Now we're going to jump over here to the next chain space and we're going to work 3 double crochet into this one. 1, 2, 3. So you can see we got 2 sets of 3. Now we're going to jump to the next chain space, 3 doubles into that space. Here's 1, 2, 3. Now the next space, we got our 3 sets of 3 doubles. Now the next space is going to be a corner. So this is how we work the corners. We're going to work yarn over twice and we're going to work 3 triple crochets. So there's 1 triple, yarn over twice again, go in the same spot, 2 triples, 3 triples, and then we're going to chain 2, which forms a corner, and go back into the same spot and work 3 more triples. 1, 2, and 3. So that's how the 4 corners are going to be made. 3 triple, chain 2, and 3 triples. Now we need to have 3 sets of 3 double crochet in between again before we make our next corner. So into the next chain space here, we work 3 doubles. Next chain space, 3 doubles. And the next chain space, 3 doubles. So again, we got 1, 2, 3 sets of 3 doubles. So the next chain space is going to be the corner. So the corner is always the same. 3 triples, a chain 2, and 3 triples. So there's 3 triples, chain 2, and 3 more. Just like that. Now I'm going to repeat this pattern all the way around. So again, I will put 3 doubles, 3 doubles, 3 doubles. So 3 sets of 3 doubles, and then it'll be a corner, and then it'll be 3 doubles, 3 doubles, 3 doubles, and the last space will be a corner. So I'm going to go ahead and finish that off real quick, and I'll meet back up with you when we make it back to our starting point. Alright, so I've come to the end around 4. I just did my corner. Now I'm going to end by slip stitching into my first double crochet. And I am going to switch colors again. So I'm just going to do one more round, and it's just going to be a single crochet around it. So I'm going to tie that off like that. So that's what it looks like. But you can see I'm going to go around it one time with single crochet. So this part's very easy. This will be round 5. Just go ahead and start into the stitch that's right after a corner. Chain or pull your yarn through, chain 1, go back into that same stitch and single crochet. Now what we're going to do for this last round is we're just going to go around the entire piece, go back, and putting 1 single crochet into every stitch all the way around. But when you make it to a corner, or the chain 2 space, let me get to it real quick. So 1 single in every stitch, and then in each of the 4 chain 2 spaces, you will put 4 single crochets through that space. So there's 1, 2, if you need to slide them over, go right ahead, and 3, and there's 4. And then you start again, putting 1 single crochet in every stitch. Don't forget that guy, he likes to hide there. And we're going to do this all the way around. 1 single in every stitch and 4 single crochets in each of the corners until we make it back around to our starting point. And that will finish off the square. Alright, when you make it back around, you just end with a slip stitch you'll end with 4 single crochets into the last chain space and end with a slip stitch into your first single crochet. And then hide all your tails. And then to make this back, and you're going to need 2 of them exactly the same. All right. And we're going to put them together where the right sides are facing us. Like this. Now you can sew them together any way that you want. I'm going to sew them together with a yarn needle, piece of yarn, corresponding color, and I'm going to use the mattress stitch. So I'm going to start, remember, for this particular way of sewing, you want the right sides to be facing out. In this piece right here, so I got a piece of yarn, it's a couple feet long. And in the front piece here, we're going to work in the, the corner here, the second, not the first stitch in the corner, but the second one. And we're going to go through the back loop of it only. But when we work the mattress stitch, we always put our needle going down. We never come up, all right? So go through the back loop of that. If you count the 4 in a corner, this would be number 1. Right here is number 2. Just the back loop of it, going downward like that. You want to leave a tail, I don't know, 4 or 5 inches or so. And then you want to find the corresponding stitch on the other one. Remember, it's facing right side too. I always gotta look over here. Let's see what I'm doing here. See what I'm doing. Alright, let me look. It's always hard for me to start. Corresponding stitch, so if this would be number 1. Doesn't have to be exact either. If you don't get it exact, don't worry about it. Now on this one, on the back, the other piece, you want to go through the loop that is closest to you. Alright, but you want to make sure you go stick your needle down like that and then back up. All right, never go from the underneath with this particular stitch. Oh, make sure you leave some tail. All right, now we're going to do this all the way around our piece until we get over here. So let's go ahead and start. Now tail's going to be kind of getting in our way for a little bit, but that's okay. So you go to the next stitch, and on the piece closest to you, you go into the loop furthest away, needle down, and then back up. And then you go over here to the next piece, the other square, corresponding stitch, the one that matches, and you go into the loop that's closest to you. Needle goes from top down like that. And we're going to come back over here, and we go into the next stitch, the loop furthest away from us, needle down. And this doesn't have to be pulled real tight yet, because we'll pull it tight later, but, and that tail is always in the way. And then over here to the other piece, corresponding stitch, the loop closest to you, needle goes down, from top down. And we're going to do this all the way across until we get down the bottom. It starts to go quicker. I'm just kind of showing you a little bit slower here. Just remember, the piece that's closest to you, go into the loop furthest away from you. And the piece that's on the back, you go in a loop that's closest to you. And you try to get the same stitch on both pieces. We just try, that's it. We just do our best. Tail, and it's okay if it's not closing up yet. See how mine's kind of gaping open? I always consider this way of sewing kind of like lacing up my shoes. That's what it reminds me of. Just remember to never put your needle from the bottom of a stitch up. It's always down. All right, I'm going to do this all the way down. Now, every so often, I'm going to show you what we're going to do. Every so often, I'm actually going to do this all the way around, not just down. So this is what we're going to do all the way around. But every so often, you get a few inches on it, you stop, and this is what you do. You grab your main yarn and your tail and pull them tight as you can, and voila, it's like magic. There it is. It's a nice seam like that, and you can pull a little bit of that tail up. There you go. And then you continue, and then I'll continue down, and when I get down here to the corner, I'll tighten it up again, and then I'll work around halfway, tighten it up, around to this corner, tighten it up, all the way back up here until I get to the somewhere up here, this from up here, the second in the corner, I guess, somewhere up here. It doesn't have to be exact, remember, just up there somewhere. So I'm going to continue this all the way around, and remember, you can use any method that you want for sewing. You don't have to use this method. It's just, as long as it gets sewed shut, that's really all that matters. So I'm going to continue this and all the way around until I make it back to the other side. And we'll leave the top open, and then we'll go around the top of it and form a handle, and then it will be done. It's super cute. Let me make it down here a little bit. It's alright if your stitches start to, if they come off, you know, off the alignment. It's alright. Don't worry about it. Mine do that too. Like, I don't even know what's going on right now. There we go. So I'm coming around the corner down here. I'm just going to continue the stitch, or continue sewing around the corner in the same manner. Trying to figure out which ones I went into already. I already went in that one. Alright, I'm going to stop here and tighten it up real quick. There it is. And when you tighten it up, you gain a little bit more tail. You can always pull your tail up like that. Like that. Alright. Alright, I'm going to continue around the corner here. There it is. All the way up until we get to about the same stitch as we started in over here. Alright, and I'll be back up with you there. Alright, so I made it all the way to the top. Somewhere about the same area as up here. Maybe I'll take one stitch out. And I pulled it all tight. Okay, now what you want to do is take your yarn needle and sew that side up a bit here. Just take it and kind of sew the side shut. Kind of hide your tail as you're going. I don't know what you guys think, but I think mine looks like a piece of toast. The colors I use looks like a piece of toast. I'm just weaving my tail in a little bit and a couple times. Okay, that one's good. I ain't got much tail over here. That's okay. I'm gonna do the same thing over here. Doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be exact, but I'm just gonna kind of, where'd I end up at? Right here? Go through this. And then I'm gonna go ahead and then I'll just kind of weave this tail in. And then we'll go back around the top of it real quick and put on a little handle. All right, yes, mine definitely looks like a piece of toast. Someone threw some grape jelly on it. Okay, now we're gonna do around the top here. You can put a longer handle on it if you want. I'll show you how. Let's see how many rows that I did. Okay. All right, so I want to start in the seam here. And we want to put, oh, mine's coming undone. Well, I'm just going to go right through. We're going to put 2 single crochets in the seam, but I'm just going to start with 1 here. And then when I make it back around, I'll put the other one in over here. All right, so go ahead and chain 1 and go back into the seam area there and single crochet that like that. Let me pull that tight. All right, and now we're going to work around and we're going to put 1 single crochet into every stitch all the way around. Now how many you have might be different than the same number than the number that I have, because it kind of just depends on where you ended your sewing at. So the amount of stitches you have here doesn't really matter. You just want to keep count so we can make sure our handles are equal. So I'm just going to do 1 single crochet in every stitch around here, and then when I get to my next seam, or my seam on this side, I'm just going to put 2 single crochets in the seam area. You know what? I'm just going to put 1. I'm just going to put 1. So the first one I did over there, that's just going to count as 1. And I'm just going to put 1 here. There we go. And then I'm going to continue around, putting 1 single crochet in every stitch until we make it back around to our starting point. All right, I'll meet back up with you at the seam over there where we started. All right, so I made it back to my starting point. I'm going to go ahead and end by slip stitching into my first single crochet there that was in that I put in the seam there. And then I'm going to chain 1 and go back into that same stitch and single crochet, and I'm going to go around putting again 1 single crochet in every stitch till I make it back around to where I started. And then after this row we will count our stitches and make our handle, and then we will be finished. So 1 single crochet in every stitch, and I'll see you back at our starting point. All right, so I made it back around, and I'm going to go ahead and end by slip stitching into my first single crochet. Now I counted my stitches, and remember, yours is probably not going to be the same as mine, but I have 40. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do 5 single crochets on this side and 5 single crochets on this side. And then I'm going to make my handle. So since I'm in the center, you want to leave 5 on this side and 5 on this side, and then whatever number you have left of yours is what you divide in between the handle. So since I have 40 all the way around, 5 here would make 30. That means I'll have 15 open spaces on each side, 15 chains that I'll leave open. Okay, so since I started in the center and I want to do 5, that center one, I'm going to chain 1. I'm going to do the center one and then 2 more, and that'll be 3. And then I'm going to start my handle since I'm in the center. And then when I make it back around, I'll do the 2 on the other side. The 2 single crochets on the other side. That'll be a total of 5 over here. Hope that makes sense. So I'm just going to go ahead and go back in that same spot and single crochet. That's 1 single crochet in the next is 2, and single crochet in the next, that's 3. So remember, I want to leave 5 on each side. Well, since I was in the center, that one counted as 1, and the next one's 2, and the next one's 3. Then I'm going to do my handle, do my 5 over here, do my other handle, and then I'll single crochet in the last 2, which will make 5 over here. And now you can make your handle as long as you want. Let's see. Since I'm going to leave 15 empty spaces, I'm going to do a chain of, I'm just going to do a chain of 15. And by doing that, the same chain as you skip, it'll end up looking kind of like this one. Now, you can make it longer if you want. Sure, your chain, that's fine. But I'm going to go ahead and skip 15. And then I'm going to do 5 single crochets, which should be around the corner here. There's 1, 2, 5. Now I'm going to chain 15 again. Okay. Then I should be able to skip 15, and I should have 2 left here. So I'm just going to go ahead and go to the last 2 and single crochet in those last 2. And that will make the 5 on this side since we started with 3. I hope that makes sense. Now we're going to go ahead and end by slip stitching into our first one. And remember, you don't have to be exact. No one's going to notice if it isn't centered. Nobody's going to know it. All right. Now I'm going to do one more row. Chain 1. Go back into the same stitch, single crochet. And I'm going to single crochet into every single crochet, and then 1 single crochet in each of the chain spaces. So however long you made your chain, you need to put 1 single crochet in each of those chains. I did 15, so I'm going to put single crochet in each of those chains. This will be our last row. Unless you want your handle thicker, you can go around again. Sure. Just like this. Single crochet in every stitch of the handle. And then the 5 that are on the corners here. Goodness gracious. There's 5, and then I'm going to come over to this handle and do 1 single crochet in every stitch of the handle, and now I'm going to work all the way back around until I get back to my starting point. Alright, I made it back around. You want to go ahead and, if you want your handle, you want to go around your handle again and make it thicker, by all means you can do that. You can go around again. I'm just going to go ahead and aim with a slip stitch into my first single crochet, tie that off, and hide that last tail. And that will be it. There it is. See, mine ain't centered that well either. That's okay. That's okay. You can go around the inside of your handle too if you want. You know, whatever you want to do. But that's it. After you hide that last tail, you're finished. It's cute. Got a little bag. Put a button on it or something, if you like. A little tie over. You can line it. Like I said, I do have a tutorial on my channel on how to line bags. A lot of my bags on my channel I do line on video. Not all of them, but some of them. But that's it. I hope that you enjoyed my tutorial. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And check out all my other tutorials. I have so many. Yes, please give this video a thumbs up if you can, and a comment below. Just tell me hi or something. Helps the algorithm. Alright? And check out all my other tutorials. And I'll see you on my next video, whatever it might be. Take care, guys. Bye.